Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack. I mean, it's always gonna be Dirtbag Shit podcast. The DBS podcast. Yo, my man Rick Herrera, what up, doggy dog?
Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm chilling.
You already know, chilling with my boxers on. You see it.
Yo, you pull back real quick. Yo, your thighs are mad milky white. You got the milky white thighs.
Hell yeah, I got them quarantine thighs. Been staying in.
It's good to see you, man. It's funny. Every time I Zoom one of the podcasts and I'm mad nosy. Like,
yeah,
I'm looking at, you got a nice
yeah, that's my haircut station.
Alcohol. Yeah, what are you running, a barbershop out here?
Yeah, on the low. Nah, that's the stuff I used to cut my hair. Cause I learned how to cut my hair like when I went to college and stuff like that. So then ever since I just been doing it.
You're very self-sufficient.
Yeah, I just
Wait, you give yourself hair, like the haircut you got now, that's you?
Yeah, that's all me, bro.
That's a nice haircut, dogs.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all me.
Because my mother cuts her own hair, and you can tell. My mother walks around with sometimes, well, she doesn't do it anymore, but when she did, sometimes she'll have like balls, not ball spots, but it was uneven. Mom, why you look like a stressed out cockatiel?
Yo, let me tell you. Yeah.
Fuck their own feathers. I'm like, Mom, you look like a cockatiel that's stressed out in the streets.
Yo, that was me when I was learning how to do fades and all that stuff. Right. Yo, I used to wear fitteds all the time because my shit was uneven and stuff like that. People knew.
Yeah, but you practice and it's like tight now. You save a ton of money and a ton of time, because although I enjoy the barbershop culture, that shit got old real quick as a teenager.
Bro, that shit, you know how much money we think about, how much we spend on haircuts? Don't get me wrong, I love them, and the haircut does a big difference in your life. Right. But the money that we spend on that, bro, like... Yeah,
the money and the time.
Yes.
I remember being in the barbershop, you know, late 90s, early 2000, and it was always like 4 hours.
Yeah, yo, I hated the waiting, bro.
The younger I was, the more I waited. I was like in junior high school, sometimes it was 4 hours. As I got older, I became more assertive. I'm like, yo, listen, man, I need to be out by 2. So if the appointment is at 2, you know.
Yo, you ever got punked out of your spot? I'm
sure I did.
So I remember, because, you know, get a haircut to the hood, like, they were like, yo, shorty, let me get next. And I'm like, but I was here waiting for like 2 hours. It's like, come on, just real quick. And then they'll skip me, and the barber won't say nothing, and then I wait another hour.
Oh, yeah, and it's always like a dude that's a little older.
Yeah.
Real charismatic.
Yeah, and he was like, I'll be quick. Man, that fades was never quick, man. He was there for like another hour and a half. And then the barber went to lunch.
And that dude made you feel kind of good because you felt like you were helping him out. He'll give you like the pound, yo, good looking shorty.
Yeah, exactly. Good looking shorty. And I'll never see him again. And it's somebody else. It was like a scheme that they had, pyramid scheme.
Oh, man, that's the worst. I had weird situations at the barbershop. I've waited for hours. I've done the let me just go with the barber who's available right now. And that dude.
Oh, no, I hated that.
Right?
You never do that, bro.
Alone, and you can feel the tense, the tense, like the tension bubble up when you went over there. They were like, oh, he's gonna fuck up shorty's hair.
Yeah. And mind you, he was scoping you out for so many times because, like, he knew you was waiting for somebody else, but he'll still ask you. He was like, I could do it. Who you waiting for someone? And you know that's my barber, bro. Stop trying to do that. And then he caught you slipping one time. It's like, yeah, I'll try it out.
Because you thought you were in a rush. Meanwhile, you had nothing to do. And then you left with your line like crooked.
Nah, looking like that with a bald head. I was like, yo, I didn't want no bald head. I wanted a fade, bro.
I definitely got the crooked shape up, like, and you're like,
son,
to the side all day, every day for like a
haircuts.
Week.
If you had a bad cut, bro, like that ruined your whole week. Because then you had to go to school. You know, the boys gonna snap on you. Like if you had a crooked hairline, it was not good, bro. You wouldn't survive. You was dying for that hair to grow back.
Yeah. Have you ever got cut with the clippers? Like, I don't know if they didn't oil them correctly. But
Oh, it was like
I got
it was like biting, like it was rough.
Yo, and I had like scabs.
They stitched the fucking the scab of a lineup.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those are worse. But I love the culture of the barbershop though, because once you do find like a good barber, like it's like a relationship. You don't want to let that barber go.
Yeah.
You don't want to go find another one. So it's like this great chemistry that you have between you and your barber. Because after a while, you don't have to say anything. They already know. The usual, hook me up, you're in, you're out, boom.
Yeah.
And then if he leaves, it's like, fuck, who I'm going to find now?
Yeah. How many barbers you think you went through in your lifetime? Were you a barber?
Yeah, no. I was faithful in the beginning, bro. I was faithful, right? I had this one lady named Maria, and she cut me and my boys' hair. My mom used to go to her. So we was with her like in her prime, bro. Like she was giving out cuts like in and out, knocking them out, fresh to death, all that. And then Maria was getting older. It was almost like in boxing, bro. Like you could tell she was getting slower. The speed wasn't there anymore. Like what I'm saying? Like she's not even the gym practicing. She's just like doing whatever. And I remember me and my boy Carlos, we had like a meeting. It was like, yo, you noticing this? It's like, yeah, what are we gonna tell her? Like, that she ain't got it no more.
Maria needs to retire her cape and clippers.
Yep. And then we did one of those shady moves where there was this new guy that was there, and everybody was like going to him. And she started
he was nasty. He was enthusiastic.
He was the prospect. He was new, hungry.
Yeah.
Ready to attack.
Maria probably had a mean like mushroom. You know what I'm saying? Like she did a nice mushroom, a nice bowl cut.
Yeah.
You outgrew Maria.
Yeah.
It was good for like your
basics.
Your sister's sweet 16. You know what I'm saying?
Word. And communions,
Communion. Right.
Yeah, man. And then we started going to the new hot prospect in town, and he was killing it. And then then she found out, and then I think she like probably retired like 2 years, 3 years after that.
Right.
And then I went to Buffalo for school, and that's when I learned how to cut my own shit, because I'm like, I'm not gonna trust nobody. So I went through like maybe 4 or 5 barbers. I was faithful. My number was low.
Yeah. I went through a few, man. I had a barber who his name was, we'll leave his name out the story just to protect his identity. But I believe he was one of my last barbers, and he spoke like this. He had a mad raspy voice like this. Yo, what up, Serge? I got you next. But he was nice.
He was nice.
The thing is, he had really long hair. So it was like the type of dude who,
like the Fabio long hair.
Yeah, he was like the hood male ghetto Rapunzel, like Rapunzel. Like remember what John Leguizamo said? It was like his girl had the long hair. She was like the ghetto Rapunzel. This is like the hood version of that.
Yeah.
So he had this beautiful, like, you ever seen a racetrack horse and well, not even a racetrack horse, just a majestic horse at the stable.
Yeah,
with long, beautiful hair. His hair was like that.
Damn.
So
that's that good Indian hair.
Yeah, man. He's like, I'm Taino, yo, 99% Taino. Before 23andMe was in stock.
Yeah.
So he used to get like a little temp fade, and then he had this long ass hair. He'd be like, yo, Sergio, I got you next. But he used to have a problem with, I don't know, his stomach. He used to like shit 4 times per person during it. Like if he had someone in the chair, you would have to go to the bathroom like 4 times. So you're dealing with somebody who's like using their hands a lot around your face.
Oh,
and they're going to the bathroom like 4 or 5 times over. Now he was very, his hygiene was up there. It's like his a nice. I remember he had like nice clean hands. It never smelled like shit.
But why he shitting all the time? What's wrong? Anybody asked?
Yo, one of the barbers that was next to him like, yo, put a cork in there, Pop. Yo, barbers have jokes.
Yeah, all day. You gotta have tough skin, bro.
Yeah, it goes down at the barbershops.
Yeah.
It goes down. Like, I seen some of the best snap contests at the barbershop. So anyway, even with that, even with him, you know, escaping to the bathroom during a temp fade,
Yeah.
I stuck with him. And I even hung out with him. But he was like, yo, Serge, we're going out clubbing today. Let's get these, you know, we're going to light these girls up, baby. You know how I do? You know, he's stuck like that.
Yeah. Will he shit 4 times to the club too?
Yes, he used to shit at the club too.
Oh, that's dirtbag. That's dirty.
He used to,
to the club.
The thing is, he was ahead of the game. We're talking about the late 90s, early 2000s. So he had baby wipes with him all the time. he had his polo cologne and baby wipes. Yeah, I remember.
And the girls was loving it. Oh, he clean. He got baby wipes. He clean.
I remember.
I ain't messing with no dirty nigga.
I picked him up at his crib. And he's like, I got my keys. I got my polo cologne. Oh, let me get my baby wipes. Wild.
Yo, that means he has some bad memories with like leaving some homegirl having shit in his drawers or some shit. Yeah, so like after that, he was like, I gotta carry wipes.
I don't know what condition that is. I mean, I go to the bathroom a lot, you know, but his shit was like chronic. So I don't know if it was Crohn's. Or, you know, I don't know what that shit was.
Straight up cagong. That's 24/7.
But this one time we went out to our club and he said, yo, these bitches are fronting on me. That's what he was talking. And I never spoke like that. Like I never used the word bitch, you know, like he's like, yo, these bitches are fronting on me, but watch where I let loose my hair. I was like, what? So he had his hair like in a ponytail. And I ignored it, right? Like he was just like this, yo, these bitches are fronting on me. Wait till I pull out my hair. I'm like, what? He had it in a bun that night, actually. It's a big ass bun. Yeah, I went to the bathroom and I came back out to see him sitting at a table. Yo, Rick. And his hair was loose. Like it was so much hair. And it was like draping the table, falling onto the ground. And he's like, yo, check it out. Check it out. He was like a peacock, like showing his colors. And girls would come by and they would touch it.
That was his mate call. That was mating call.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, man. That shit was funny.
Is he still around? Oh,
you know what? I think I got a excuse me.
Yeah, no problem.
I think I got a Father's Day call from him. He's still around. I don't know if he's still cutting hair or whatever.
Nice.
But,
you curved them? You blocked it? Damn,
yeah,
sir.
I don't get cuts anymore. Actually, I'll get the beard shaped up.
Yeah.
But I'll go to, you know.
Oh, so you do it yourself?
I do this with the beard myself. Every now and then, I treat myself for someone to do my beard. And it's a little, I say little. He's not little. He's, you know, he's a grown man.
Yeah.
He's a Orthodox Jewish man named Zach. And I like him, man. You know, he's always offering me shots when I get in there in the barbershop. You know what I like about him? That I'll make an appointment and boom, I'm in. Like
you in. There's no waiting.
Yeah, man. And it's just
I hate that.
And it's near my mom, so I'll go visit my mom, you know. And yo, even though this is like public, the thing I enjoy most about it is that when I'm done with my beard, after the hot towel, he goes like this to my earlobes.
Oh, no, that feels good. No homo, bro. That shit feels good.
Yo, he goes like this.
Yeah.
And does like this to my eyes. And I'm like, yo, you getting that $10 tip.
Yo, how great is it having a bald head? Do you miss like having hair or like, cause I feel like the moment that my hair starts like receding, I'm not going to be one of those dudes that's going to fight it, try to mold it to something else. I'm going to just let it go bald. But how's that bald lifestyle for you?
First and foremost, your hair looks good. Like you don't look like you're going that route unless you sprayed it before the pod today. Unless you like put some dye on it.
I gotta put more of the spray in my collection. I ran out.
You have it by your foot. You're just kicking it to the side under the table. I love it. I you know, even when I had hair, I would shave it low.
Oh, really?
Okay. Because remember when Onyx first came out?
Yeah.
You're younger than me. Like,
no, I know Onyx. Yeah.
So like back then, we would like shave it. So I was always used to shaving, and I kept it low a lot, number 2. But I like it. I've always felt comfortable with a bald head. I know for some people, they're worried about having like a funny looking head. You know, some people have a flat head.
Nah, you have a great shaped head, bro. Thanks, I see why your barber touch your fucking earlobes and eyebrows, bro. A nice shaped head is irresistible.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's easy. It's kind of like I treat it like I'm brushing my teeth. I brush my teeth, shave my head every day.
Oh, so you do it every day?
I do it every day. I can't be moving around the streets with the stubs. And if I have stubs, it's because I've been real busy, but I wear a hat. I don't mess around, man. You're not gonna have me fucked up with the U. Looking like a powdered donut.
So you do it with the blade. Is there like a trick for doing that? Because I know how to do the blade, for the lineups, but like doing the bald head,
it's a 4-razor flexible blade, and I just go. I go like this.
Wow.
I do it like in less than a minute.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I never had that. I use like the foil shavers whenever like I cut my boy's hair because his head is bald. I always wanted to do it, but I'm like nervous to like do the whole head like that with the razor.
Wait, you do it with the
blade, the razor blade, like for my lineups.
Ooh,
but
so
like
it's like a knife almost.
Yeah, it's like a knife, basically. Yeah. It's like one of those switchblades things.
I got one of those, and that's why your beard looks so tight. I got one of those, but I'm scared to use that shit.
Yeah, so I've been using it. I learned how to use it, and it's fine. I got comfortable with it. I had some cuts or whatever.
Yeah.
But they go with the trial and tribulation. But now my boy, he shaves his head bald, so I use a foil shaver to get as low as I can. But every now and then I want to do the blade with the cream, and I'm like, nah, I can't.
I think you got to go not against the grain. You start with the grain, with the hair, and then you go the opposite way.
I know what you mean. Nice.
Yeah, but I every time I went to a barbershop, it never felt as smooth as when I do it. When I do it, it's like smooth. Like
you know why?
ball.
I'll tell you why. Because you take your time with it. Not to say that the barbers don't, but they don't want to be there all day finding certain spots that's rough, blah, blah, blah. They just want to get in, get out, give you like a good hour, and that's it. But like when you do it, it's like you already know your whole head.
You know your whole head. And I also think that they want to be careful. Like they don't want to fuck around with that blade and cut you.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Shout out to all the barbers out there. I know it's tough when the quarantine happened. That shit just stopped.
I know, man.
Everybody was rugged.
Everyone was wolfed the fuck out, and it was getting annoying after a while. I was like, yo, put on a hat, bro. I'm tired of seeing your neck hair, your back hair just extend the top of your head.
But not for nothing, that just shows you that we're so catered to rely on somebody else to groom us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one ever told you how to put on gel, comb it back. I don't know, like clip it a little bit. Like, not to say you're a barber, but like to maintain it at least. No one knew it. It was like, guess I'm just gonna like wolf this shit out until a barber comes back. Like,
I know some dudes are looking mad dusty.
Yeah, it's like it's sad. I mean, but me, people was like, "Yo, who you? Everything's locked down. How you getting a haircut?" I was like, myself. I told myself years ago.
Yeah, you still fresh and clean the whole quarantine.
I did.
Now, do you cut hair on the side? Do you make money off of it, or you just?
I cut a couple of my friends' hair. So yeah, they'll come over and they'll schedule an appointment, and I'll cut their hair. So put the money to the side, and that's it. So I you know what? It's actually therapeutic for me. I actually love cutting hair. I'm not gonna lie. That's like one thing about me that a lot of people don't know. That I actually love doing it, like the talking. I put some music on, and it's like an art form in the sense of like,
absolutely,
how can I fix this fade? I'm getting better. I'm learning. Like every now and then, if they try to talk to me, if I'm lining them up, I was like, yo, can you shut up real quick? I need to focus on this. I don't want to fuck you up.
Yeah, I would imagine it kind of falls into the category of like, it's nurturing, but you're creating. It's like cooking for somebody.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I never actually spoke to another barber about it, but I know for me, it's definitely like it's like another world of concentration and fun. And that's like when my boys came, they came during quarantine, and they was like, "Yo, you mind if I come back?" I was like, "I don't mind. Yeah, this is fun." So it served like a dope purpose. And then I wanted to get into it more of like, cutting your hair and cutting somebody else is two different things. And then just got better by doing it. And I was like, anybody could come if they want.
Yeah, and it must be
Serge. If you want that lineup, let me know.
Yeah, you're in the Bronx now, right?
Yeah, I'm deep though.
What's this the feeling like out there in the Bronx?
Well,
everything that's going on, does it feel like?
You know what? It feels like almost in a sense.
Same?
Yeah, it feels like almost in the beginning it was empty, but I think 4 weeks in, people was like, this Corona shit ain't real. And like everybody's walking around with no mask and like partying, hookah, all that stuff. And I get it because it's the summertime, but I feel like everything is in a sense almost back to normal from the humanity level of it. Like everybody's going to do whatever they want. But if you go to a store, then it's like, all right, we just got to wear our mask, But besides that, You know, I don't see it being like how it was in the beginning. Everybody's just like overriding everything. It's like, whatever, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So
Right.
it's like, in a sense, it's like, you know, you're conflicted. It's like, I still give respect to what's everything is going on, because I was affected, you know, in the family as well, people getting hit with it and stuff like that. But then it's like, how long do we live this way? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I just gonna like be scared and fearful and just not live my life like the way I was living it? I know it's gonna be limited to a certain extent, but for how long? You know, I can't. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. So it's one of those double entendre things. You know.
Right. And we just don't know. We just
Yeah.
don't know. Every state has their own way of going about it. I feel very confident that I had it. And if I contracted it again, if that's even possible, because every 6 hours it changes on whether or not you can get it again.
Right.
But I feel very comfortable and strong enough that I think I could combat it. But I'm just worried about my mother. She's older.
Yeah.
Pre-existing condition. So I want to be respectful towards that.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I went to a wedding this past weekend. Not this weekend, last weekend. And I was a little concerned because, you know, then I knew I had to quarantine for my mom, you know, after that. But man, it was nice to get the fuck out. Went to Boston.
Yeah.
I drove out there. I got a little Fiat, you know what I'm saying? Fuel efficient vehicle, my wife and my brother-in-law and my sister. And it was beautiful, man. The foliage, you know, and I saw family and, you know, and it was, you know, you want to be respectful to what's going on. But after a couple of drinks, everyone's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, everyone in this motherfucker's getting sick.
Yeah, yo, yo, have you been taking like the trains and stuff? I still get paranoid. I'm not gonna lie. For me, like just being around a lot of people, like, so I still keep my distance. I was always like that anyway when the trains was crowded. But even more now, I don't know. I still got this paranoia about that. I was like, yo, I'm still away.
I've taken the train very little, and it's not by choice. It's just what I'm doing right now. It doesn't require the train.
But
every time I wanted the train, man, the train in the beginning, I'm gonna tell you this, and like 4 months ago, I wanted the train, and that shit was like Grand Theft Auto Underground. Like I saw dudes, like it was dirty. I saw dudes with like syringes in their kneecap. It was run by all the junkies.
Wow.
I think that was when they first like lifted the I don't know, they let some motherfuckers out of bookings or something.
Yeah.
And all the drug users and the society's vomit just
but that's still going on in many areas. It's like, it's, you know, I'm not gonna like, people are comparing it to the 80s, but I'm just saying,
not
like
the 80s.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I mean, I was born in 88, but from stories from my family and stuff like that, I'm like, this doesn't sound like that. Is a layer of it, but not the full layer of the 80s.
That's a perfect way of describing it. It's a piece of it, but it's definitely not, because I mean, that's a whole different energy that's going on. People were like pumping hard drugs on the corners of a lot of.
You remember seeing all that?
Hell yeah. And the Lower East Side. I mean, I lived in Baruch. I grew up in Baruch. Where'd you grow up?
Brownsville, East New York.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's a long stretch of projects. I grew up in Baruch projects, Lower East Side. I don't remember seeing a lot of drugs, you know, because these are projects. They're indoors. I mean, it's like a maze, right? And the tall building. So I felt like it was more discreet. But when I moved to 3rd Street and there was more tenement buildings and stuff like that, I don't know, man. It felt like every other block, every other store was pumping some drugs out of it, and every corner had. And I saw drugs in abundance then. Like, you know, lines of people waiting for heroin and to go to a deli will be open, but they'll be pumping like straight heroin out of there. I remember that. I remember leaving my building, hopping over like guys leaning and shit. Yeah,
I remember seeing that growing up, going with my mom to the check cashing place, and there would be a deli over there. And I felt like, you know, in the morning, it was all the tecatos. Like, it was ran by the Spanish people. And I saw a lot of people on heroin. You know, they were shooting up. They was dazed out. They would try
This is in Brownsville?
This was in Brownsville. They would try to influence. I don't know. I would see these visions. They would, like, try to influence my mom. I was like, mira, mami, tú quieres un cantazo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what?
Yeah. And I remember having, like, hearing a speech all the time from my mom, like, telling me, like, don't do drugs. You know, this is what you can end up, you know, always telling me to go when I went with her, you know. And then, and the nighttime is ran by the, you know, black people. It was like almost they had like a shift, you know, we take over in the morning and you guys can have the nighttime. Right. Yo, it was, I mean, it was crazy to see, but it you know, influenced me in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what route should I take? You know, if I do drugs, I could be like this. Right. But then I have a lot of friends too, like, you know, that's either was taking it or was in gangs, and, you know, and they was cool, but, you know, I just didn't do what they was doing to themselves.
How long were you in Brownsville?
Man, all the way up to I went to college. I was 19.
So you stood out of trouble for the most part.
Yeah. I just got it. I got in trouble just by joking around and being in class, you know, clown and talking a lot. But whenever there was like, you know, my boys doing stuff, I don't know. I don't know. They like just accepted it. Like, all right, Rick is not gonna be down for that. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go home. I play ball.
You probably had a good sense of yourself at an early age.
Yeah, you know what it was. I was that kid. I was like the third one. I was the third one born, and I was like the baby. So my mom had me in the 40s. So there's a big gap of, like, you know, between my sister and my brother, almost like 10 years difference, right? So I know I learned from other people's mistakes, and to me, I caught on quickly. So like, if I do this, I'm gonna be like that. Like, I use different examples of people, and it was funny because people in the hood that I was close with, they would tell me like, yo, don't be like me, in a sense, like, be better than me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, either when it came from like baseball, basketball, you know, they would just, it's like, in a sense, like just teaching me like the ropes, and of like, yo, I made mistakes, don't make the same ones. And I always stuck to me. I was like, let me not go that route. Let me make mistakes, but not their mistakes. Let me make them my own way. Why should I go that route if I already know what's the route gonna lead me to? I was very like conscious of on that level.
Yeah.
So it saved me a lot of stuff.
Did you see a lot of violence there,
bro?
I'll
share. Yeah.
Even though you weren't like involved in the shit, just as a
you can't escape it.
Yeah.
I'll share a couple. Yeah. I'll share a couple examples. I remember one time we playing handball.
How old were you?
14, 15, 16. Yeah, right around that, you know, puberty and teenage years.
That's a tough age.
Yeah.
And that sort of environment, especially.
Yup, very tough. I'll be locked up in my room playing guitar most of the time, just trying to escape everything. I used to hear the neighbors like, yo, nigga, turn that shit off. And then I'll just put on Biggie. I'm like, all right, my bad. I just had a Led Zeppelin moment. My bad, man.
What did they tell you to turn it off?
Yeah, so like, you know, I love all types of music, right? I have my white phase, I guess what they call it. I was playing guitar, and I remember the boy upstairs was tired of me playing like, and the nigga was like, bang, like boom, 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 and he heard him say, nigga, turn that shit off. And then my mom came in the room, was like, because she's like, Ricky, I don't want no fucking problems. Turn that shit off. And then I would play like a different time. So I remember we playing handball, and all of a sudden we hear shots ringing out, like pop, pop, pop. We see some dude just limping. It was like, yo, they shot me in my leg. We fucking run, go to the projects. That's another instance. That's one example. Another one.
And it's like broad daylight, right?
Broad daylight. Yeah. Broad daylight. So we went home until the police came, whatever, and it was coast was clear. We came back, started playing handball again. Like, we was just so immune to it after a while. Another time, this one scared the hell out of me. I was on the hallway just playing, doing. I was young, probably like 9 or something like that, 10. My mom said she's gonna go to the check cashing place. All of a sudden, I hear something go, oh, boom. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? I go out to look at the window. I see a dead body. Someone pushed this guy off my roof of the building. Jesus. from the 15th floor. I had that voice of his head, like, yelling, and boom. And I heard the thump. And then when I look, I see a dead body there. And then I see all the ambulance come trying to save him. I ran underneath. After that, I ran underneath the bed. I was just scared. I was scared like to go outside. Then after 2 days, you're just like, whatever, I go back out.
Yeah, that's traumatizing, man.
So yeah, man.
A lot of people in the projects. I remember that growing up. I could think of 2 or 3 off the bat around this same age. People who took their lives, though. jumped off the roof. It was never a murder, from what my knowledge.
Yeah.
So this one was a murder.
This was rumors has it that it was a murder. Someone pushed him off from the building. Yeah, so, and then I remember my project building had beef with the other project building. This made no sense. So they would at night they would shoot at each other. Pop, 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 pop. Like at night, one building shooting at the other building.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, what? That make no sense. You know how many people you could just kill with a stray bullet?
I know. Then
there was another. I never seen this one, but there was a story. Carlito told me the story. Carlito on the block. And this was messed up. This was like something that I was so mad about. I think I shared this with a couple people. So I don't know what this dude did, but they put a hot curling iron up this dude's ass. And then they pushed him on this off the building on this other side.
Jesus Christ!
and I was like, that was the environment that we was in, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but besides that, right? And I always share these stories. I was like, yo, there was a lot of negativity going on, but there was a community there, and there was some positive people there. You know, so it was
I think most of the people are positive. That's a small percentage, but so grotesque and violent that it really does outshine everything.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like so.
Halloween was the worst. I never went out on Halloween. Even to this day, I guess of the fear that was instilled in me from my mom and stuff like that and everything was going on. Because Halloween was robbing, and that was like the big initiation day.
Yeah.
You know, all the Bloods would catch you slipping and mess you up to $150 on your face. Like
yeah, so you were born in 88. So I'm like 9-10 years older than you. When I was in junior high school, so that's like 98, 97, every other dude walking down the street had a $150, like the Scar, because it was big back then. Like it was this gang initiation. Every other kid had like that $150.
Yeah, and that's what my mom was always telling me about. My sister was older. She was in high school. So you guys probably like the same age. So they would tell me all this stuff. You know, my sister, they call her getting off the L train bridge, and they pulled her earrings off. Just like went right behind her. Bloop. She came into the house, was crying. She was looking for a knife. My mom was like, "Where you going?" She's like, "They took my earrings. I'm going back to stab them." She was like, "No, your life is worth more." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was crazy, man. But I had a lot of fun. We did a lot of stupid shit too. We would play baseball in the back, break people's windows by mistake, hitting foul balls.
That shit's exciting, right? I used to break people's windows on purpose.
Really?
Just like just throw a rock through a window, just like that gentleman.
You know what I used to do? That was dirtbag shit. We used to go to supermarkets.
It was mostly like abandoned building windows. I didn't do like residential. I want to make that.
Okay. I made it better though. Yeah. I don't want no one coming for you.
Yeah, that sounds really bad. Like I was breaking. I really didn't. It was like it was usually like abandoned.
Now we broke people. The foul balls actually was the current houses of people they was living in. So my bad for anybody had a broken window. But housing was gonna fix it anyway. So well, we used to go to the supermarket called Big R. We used to take the Ajax. We used to open it up and throw it over the aisles and hear the shit explode and hear people say, "Yo, what the fuck?" Throw Ajax over that. You did dirtbag shit. Steal the lollipops and then walk out.
Yeah,
like little kid shit. Like throwing Scott tissue over the aisles.
My favorite game in the projects was knocking on the door and running.
Oh, I hated that shit.
Oh, that was fun, man.
I was
if someone chased you, you run down those steel steps. Yo,
I used to hate that because they used to catch you at that's the whole point. It happened randomly. Yo, I could be whole and boom, boom, you jump up and then you hit a run. Yeah, my mom used to get mad. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die of a heart attack or some shit."
They'll kick that door, knock on it mad hard.
Yeah.
Project fun. I remember there was a time when kids were big into riding on top of the elevators.
Riding on top of the elevators?
Yeah, they knew how to open the elevator and get on top of it.
Oh,
and it was 13 stories, and they would ride up and down, and they would call it elevator surfing.
Nah, that's too dangerous.
Wild, right?
You did that before?
No, I never did. I was scared to death for that. But there was one project where the elevators were like consecutive. They were right next to each other. So they would jump from one to the next. And this kid named Alex, he was a little older. He was my sister's friend. He fell off 3 stories. He missed the elevator and broke his back, his face, like everything was broken. He had a scar from the wiring because there was like wires that will pull the elevator. He had a scar from awful. He was in the hospital for a year. He pulled through though. Walks with still to this day walks with a limp.
Oh man, there's no like. There should be like a memorial about him, like a statue, like the fucking legend of the elevator jump or some shit, because he survived it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the train surfing too. When people do the trains, on the bus surfing too. I know that they go back the back of the bus and hold on.
Yeah. I did a UPS.
You did a UPS?
Yeah, you know, a little ledge.
Yeah.
I sat on that shit. Me and my boy Mike. We were just sitting on there, and the UPS guy must have known we were on there, so he started going faster. And I panicked.
Ghetto Tony Hawks.
Yeah, and I jumped off, and I did like a Rambo roll right down the street, like da 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 da, and then he stopped at the red light. So I jumped off for no reason.
Yo, it's like we was doing like jackass type shit in the projects, but not the only for a laugh was or a thrill of it, not even getting a paycheck for the shit. Just so we told someone the next day in school some shit. Like I miss those type of things, man. Like no one, like kids now don't even know. Kids now don't even know what it is to like do those things. Everything is either on the iPad, internet, or whatever. And I'm not trying to sound old because I'm still young, but I was talking to my boy about this. It's like a lot of stuff that we did outside is like extinct. You know, I remember putting like what is it? The 25-cent juices, the carton, put in the back of the bike. Just so it could sound like a motorcycle.
Yeah, you got creative. Yeah. So those 25-cent juices, they were plastic. They looked like they were like some of them was the shape of a grenade, right? And the others were flat all the way around. The ones that were flat all the way around, we used to cut the collar of it, cut a balloon, and then tie a rubber band around it and make pea shooters.
Yeah.
Sometimes we used to put spark plugs in there. And you could like break glass like that.
Yo, you want to get deep for a moment? So I wonder why that was in the form of a grenade for us. And only we know this. I remember I was watching a documentary, right? I think it all ties in. They was like, when they built the projects, like it was meant for like low income people to only be there for like maybe 10 or 15 years until they get back on their feet to afford like a house or whatever. They never intended for it to be like a lifelong thing. But at the same time, a lot of them can't leave. So a lot of the material and all the stuff that's in the boiler is cracking down. The maintenance is millions of dollars, which they're never going to freaking fix. So, but he was saying that when they built them, it was almost intended to condition our mind that we're used to a jail type scenery, an area. The metal doors, this heavy thing when you got to get in. You got bars on your windows already to look out. And now you just mentioned that, the 25-cent thing, there was 2 types, and one of them was in the form of a grenade. Yeah. There's no other environment that I know of that either was, white people was living in that had those type of things.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of like, it's weird. Not weird, but like this brainwashing conditioning us from a young age of the environment that we was in because we couldn't afford anything else.
Yeah, and everything around it was the lowest. It was minimal. Like the school systems surrounding that area weren't good. I mean, even the way certain people in the projects treated where they lived. I remember, people pissing the elevator. Bro, we used to have to walk in them. Every project has a dude or many motherfuckers who drink and they decide to pee in the elevator. Why would you pee in the elevator?
Or take a shit on the staircase.
Or it's a shit in the staircase. It's just like this very self-hating mentality.
No one tells you when you sign your rent or a contract that you got to be a dirty motherfucker. That's extra. We're just telling you, pay your low rent, whatever what you're good for. But there's nowhere in that contract, you also got to be dirty when you live here too. Yeah. No one says that. So I never understood that logic of like the projects don't have to be the projects. We can make it look good by taking care of it. You know what I'm saying? Like how you said, peeing in the elevator, taking the shit, like treating your house with all, the roaches and the dirtiness of it. Like, no, that should be a human characteristic. Let's take care of ours. Let's be clean. and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the violence is gonna go on, whatever. But just the cleaning level, like that was never something that had to be signed on and agreed on.
Yeah, I mean, just the graffiti on the walls. And I remember they used to put grease on the walls. There was a porter.
Grease?
There was this porter, and he was like very enthusiastic and passionate about what he did. I forgot his name, man. But if he caught you doing graffiti, he would hem your ass up. Like he would treat it like he treated his building like he was like the police. He was like, no one's gonna do graffiti. I'm cleaning this shit. And he used to run up on people. If a kid named, if a kid threw like a candy wrap on the floor, he would pick that up. I cleaned this place. I liked him, man.
That's great.
Yeah, and he knew that people wouldn't touch the walls if he put grease on. So he put grease on the walls.
That's smart.
Yeah, but you couldn't like lean against the wall. So if you put your mark on it, it would ruin your marker. So we lived and we went in the elevators against, you know, in a greasy ass fucking wall. Like it was grease all over. And we did that for a period of time until people would, you know, wouldn't write on the wall. But those are the lengths that were taken. So motherfuckers were destroyed.
Yo, that motherfucker, like, the funniest thing is just thinking about how he came up with that idea at night. Just like sit at home, probably smoking a cigarette, a Newport. He was like, yo, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna catch these niggas now. I'm gonna put grease on the motherfucking wall. That's how I'm gonna stop this shit. Yeah, and like come up with the idea and being excited for it. Like that was his life. Like I'm gonna take care of my building. No one's gonna fuck this over. If I see you, you're gonna pick that rapper up. You know what? You think you won by writing on this shit? Nah. I'm Mr. Whatever, Mr. Edwards, whatever he is. Yeah. And I'm gonna put grease on this shit and fuck up your markers. Like and took grease. Pride in that.
Yep. Yeah, just straight grease.
Yeah.
How long ago did you know that you wanted to be a performer? You think that was created during those early years, or was that something that you kind of tapped into later? Because I've always been impressed by your ability to be self-sufficient and this kind of channeling your kind of spirituality, you know, playing the guitar and then tapping into, you know, your family to make like a one-man show. And even when you were doing stand-up, you kind of intertwined that. How long ago did you realize that was something you wanted to do?
You know, it was well, I was like always like almost like the funny one and the friends and stuff like that. I was very quiet at home, you know, and I would be locked in the room playing guitar. But when I was with my friends, I was always like the funny one and creating stupid sketches or whatever. But I didn't know like that was like almost like in a sense like a career path or something that you can do until like, you know, around 16 or 17, I saw Eddie Murphy Delirious. Like I love Eddie Murphy for his movies, but I didn't know he did stand-up. And I didn't know really what stand-up was until I just happened to say one day, I told myself, Eddie Murphy does stand-up. Let me Google it. Oh, not Google, it was Yahoo at that time. And I saw Delirious and I was like, man, this is funny. Then Raw. And then I started watching other stand-ups. But even then, it didn't click that was a profession or something, right? I just thought if you do movies, then and you're funny, then you have to do that on stage now. And everybody used to always tell me like, yo, you should do stand-up. You should do stand-up. And it wasn't until like down the road, once I knew what it was, that I had to get knee surgery. And I was telling myself, this is going to be the year that I do stand-up. So I had to get knee surgery when I was in college, during college break. And I really couldn't do anything for that summer because I had to recoup and all that stuff. And I told myself that I want to get out the house. So I'll need to learn how to walk again. So what motivated me is I told myself, once I learn how to walk again, like normally, then I'm going to do stand-up. And I remember calling you because I was doing Yahoo. And I remember looking on Yahoo and all this stuff. And I called you and we spoke for a good minute. And I told you I always wanted to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, all right, cool. Do one of the Bringer shows. And then you're going to love it, blah, blah, blah. And we had a great speech. And then you said, go see Pudge first just to do an open mic. And then that's how everything set off. And I was like, oh, man, went on stage, loved it. Just like being up there, like almost I had deja vu. So I know like this is what I wanted to do, whether it's a career, but it's love. The passion was there. And then from there, escalate to other things. I wanted to do improv comedy. What's that? Oh, I want to do acting classes. I love to act too. then from there, I started doing all these things and then music. And then years down the road, it kind of like all clicked. It was like, I always want to do a one-man show. How can I combine everything that I love to do into one to tell the story? And then, boom, the rest was history.
That's dope.
Thank you, brother. And I always give you credit, man, because like you always like, yo, shut up, nigga. But I always give you credit because I feel like it's always important when someone's sharing like a piece of themselves to another person. Like that could have been a critical moment, right? And how many people have that moment where they're like, I want to go after something, and the luck that you have for the other person receiving it to be positive about it, to influence them and say, yeah, go after it. You could have been like, nah, it's too many comedians out here, bro. All right, peace. Like, you know,
I was just sharing what was given down to me because that's the way I started. I met a woman. I started doing stand-up. I did the open mics and shit. But when I did like a bringer show, I was fortunate enough to meet somebody who was also a comic, who I trusted, who was mad cool. And then I ventured off and did my own thing. But it's always frowned upon, those sort of shows, like where you're required to bring people, you know, but that's just the way it works. A 6-7 o'clock show on a weekday or a Saturday is just the way it worked. But a lot of people were turned off by that. Like shortly after that, they just couldn't sustain that. And that's when you got to figure it out for yourself, right? But it's like those first couple of times, you got the built-in audience made of the performers, friends and family. And then eventually you figure it out. And some people never figure it out, you know. Some people, you know, like go, but it's hard, man. It's hard to like to figure out. But it's also fun because I remember doing like open mics nonstop. You know, I would do nonstop, and then just like it would be a restaurant show, and I would go to fucking travel 4 hours to Pennsylvania to do a 10-minute spot, and then you know, one thing lets another, and it's just weird how your passion would take you through that shit. And you know, but they're not all fun.
Yeah, they're not. It's like, but they all like, it's like they all teach you a lot of things about yourself and also about the and the realization of the grind. This is what you want to do, right? Are you doing it for the right reasons in a sense? Because it ain't gonna pay in the beginning. It may not pay for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You're just making scraps or whatever. So, and I think for me too, like another stamp of approval for me that I wanted to create my own venture of everything that I learned and kept on doing it, you know, instead of just individually all these things, which I still would do, you know what I'm saying? I could do improv one day or stand up one day or just do music one day. But like in a sense of being in control of my own content and my own world and my own platform, because, you know, I will go on these auditions and I'm like, I'm not feeling any substance in this stuff. And it's not bringing me any joy. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not a rapist, you know. I'm more than what these auditions are, and I didn't like the whole cattle call thing. And it's not about that I felt like I was better than anybody. I was like, no, we're all artists, and we should be treated respectfully in a way of like, yeah, you're a machine and you're part of that business, but you need me and I need you. So let's meet halfway to accomplish this, and we're just not a number. So long story short, all that's happening, and I was like, what do you really want to do? And then the path of creating my own one-man shows was the path that I wanted to do, you know, having an audience and thankful for having a base that supported, but also the work that was being put in, what I was learning about myself while sharing these journeys and the writing process and reflecting on the past, that held on and helped me a lot, working on myself with my spiritual teacher. So it was just, it was a journey that, like how you mentioned, took me to many different areas that I never would have thought was going to happen, you know?
Did you feel exhausted after doing those shows? I feel like you give so much of yourself. God damn.
Yo, I was
both physically and mentally. It's like, I can only imagine. I'm like depleted if I do 30 minutes on stage of stand-up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's,
I'm emotionally, physically, and spiritually drained by the end of the show because it's like an hour and 10 minutes of reliving this story over and over, and every show is different. So in the end, I'm
what do you mean every show is different? How many one?
Well, every show is different to say like, so like the first one-man show, I did it like 12 times, but you know, every show is different in the sense of like how the crowd is reacting,
Yeah.
you know, the energy and stuff like that, how you have your cues of the emotions you're trying to reach, but how you're getting there emotionally and eternally is different almost every show. You know what I'm saying? The setup of the joke or how you're going to say it, you kind of already know, but you want to earn those moments every night. You just don't want to say it and be a book. So it's like you're sharing yourself with everyone and being vulnerable. I call it too, like, when every time I'm about to get ready for a show, I feel like I have like my period, like, cause like I'm super sensitive to a lot of shit. Cause and it's great to feel that, because for me, that means I'm opening up. So I feel so many different things. So it's gonna allow me to and help me to get to reach those emotional peaks and also the timing of certain jokes as well. So I am drained by the end, you know, because then, you know, I want to talk to everybody, you know, give a talk back towards the end. And then I'm just like quiet at the end. Like I just want to go home. You know how some people want to go hang out and drink or whatever. I just want to go home. I'll probably go to a dinner. I'm always the type of person, like, I want to go home and I'm already thinking of what I can do better in my head. And it was always like that, almost like maybe like a fight. You know, I want to see the footage. I want to see where I could do better. Where can I, you know, tweak certain things, go back to the writings. Oh, what was some improv moments that happened great that I could use for the show now and written it down. So yeah.
How many one-man shows? I mean, I know you had the first run. How many different ones have you?
Oh, so I have two. The Naked Truth.
Okay.
That came out in 2015. In 2017, a second part came out called Still Naked, and then I was supposed to read this year my third one, which is like, you know, another journey being shared. Not pretty much a part 3, but it's just a new journey being shared of what happened.
Are they both similar to each other?
Well, no. Well, being myself, yes, but similar of the story, different. So like the first one.
What would you say is
okay?
The Naked Truth about?
The Naked Truth is basically me finding out who and what I am in this world where everybody's trying to tell me to be something that I'm not. So I'm sharing the story of the relationship with my mom, growing up in the projects, the beautiful, you know, colors of that. You know, the relationship I had with my dad when he left when I was very young. So it was like this world of me trying to figuring out a sense of who I am and everything around me. Everybody's pulling me from side to side. And that's the journey of that. And then meeting and the work that I had to do to get rid of a lot of negativity that I was facing. Like I wasn't taking a lot of responsibility for a lot of things. So I had to accept a lot of things and learn from it in a positive light. And then, you know, I meet my spiritual teacher. That's almost like the middle of the show, where now I'm explaining a lot of the healing process I had to do. Still, but being funny, because it's not about, I'm not sharing like, it's not like I'm being a preacher or something like that. I'm just taking you on the journey how I was in the beginning to now with the comedic moments in there, because it was funny. There's a lot of funny stuff that happened to me in the projects in my life, you know, from my dealing with my spiritual teacher with my stuff, and then the emotional peaks of my dad and not having that type of father thing figure.
How'd you meet a spiritual teacher? Is that like a life coach?
Well, she's like a life coach, but I met her through my spiritual brother and also a good friend of mine, Victor Cruz.
Yeah, I know Victor.
Yeah, so he was
dude.
Yeah, also a comedian, actor. Right. So it's funny how everything works. Everything happens for a reason. So I had this opportunity, and the reason why I'm sharing this because it's all links. I had this opportunity. I was like, oh, I'm gonna send out this resume to be like an intern or have a writing position in LA or some shit like that. So I was like working a 9-to-5 job here. It was after college, still trying to figure out what I want to do and where I fit in. So I sent out for this application for this job or whatever. So I told myself, if I don't get this opportunity, then I'm gonna sign up for a UCB class to do improv, and I'm gonna sign up for an acting class. I don't know what acting class that's gonna be. I'm just like, whatever. But I already said, if I don't get it, those are the two things I'm gonna do. Mind you, because prior to that, I was looking for acting classes. I didn't find anything that spoke to me. And then I was looking for improv classes, and UCB all sold out.
Yeah.
So probably.
And it's funny how we talk about barbers giving us a certain look. It's the same thing with an acting coach. It's the same thing. You know, you need chemistry. You want to feel comfortable. you want to make sure the technique is right for you, man. Because
Yep.
I hate sketch. Like, I mean, not sketch. I hate improv. I don't hate it. I don't like it though.
Yeah.
Like, I've never watched improv that I enjoyed. And maybe because I haven't seen good improv, but I don't like it. I don't like.
Right.
I think those people, the people who I've seen do improv, they look like comics who suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they always be like those nerdy comics who, you know. And then
Gotcha.
I'm sure that's a talent, right? And it is. It is. I just haven't seen good. It's almost like someone who's never seen good stand up, like, oh, I've seen stand up. It looks like actors who can't act. You know, so
I feel you. That could make you or break you from whatever you see.
So, but and it probably roots from the fact when I took an improv class, my improv teacher was so fucking bitter and such a dick. Like, that was like, he turned me off to the whole thing. Like, you could tell he didn't want to be there. Like, he was probably he failed, horrible. And then he was just propped into this room with like 12 motherfuckers telling him how to do it.
My college teacher, this is advice that I learned that I carry to this day. He always say, pick teachers, don't pick classes, because that shit can ruin everything for you. And I'm thankful I've been blessed to have teachers that inspired me, motivated me, and wasn't bitter, no matter what it was in life. And the reason why I say that, my improv coach was, I remember the first time he says, listen, and he was just straight up. He said, look, I could teach you how to be funny. I could teach you the formulas, things that you should use, yada, yada, all that stuff. He said, but if you want to be funny, one is a natural thing that you got to go through. You know, either have it or you don't, or I could teach you the structure of it. But to be honest, if you want to do great improv, I'll tell you to leave my class and go live life. Because by you living life, you're going to have experienced joy, pain, challenges, a journey, and you're going to bring that back to a stage, and you're going to have so much to share. Right now, you guys are going to be talking about dicks, all this stuff, sex. He says, and that's cool and all, but to be honest, just leave my class and go live life. But he said, but you paid, so let's do some improv. But I was like the only one that like caught on to that. Like, yo, he's right. Like, I was on another level. I was like, all right, cool. I know I'm naturally funny, and I got to do what I got to do, and let me learn the formulas and structures, but always be true to myself. But man, I want to experience more life because I could bring that to a stage. Now, when I get older, I have more depth to myself, and I'm like, oh man, I saw like the beautiness of that. And you know, I had the corny white comedians with me, and I was like, all right, well, let's go right into a dick joke. And I was like, all right, this wasn't, you know, the class was great, but you know, you could see the level of people of how they took it. Just one aspect of it. I was like, nah, I want to do it all, and also bring some substance to it as well.
Right. Yeah, with improv, you got to really trust your partners and be a good listener and not think ahead, right? You just got to really
react.
Present. Yeah.
Be present and react. I think that's what it is. It's like, don't even try to be funny, bro. Like, be yourself. Like, and you start realizing like those moments were built. And what I love about it, bro, is like, it's like you're painting with nothing and you building it together. And there's good scenes and then there's bad scenes. So, but when you have a good scene where you found it, it washes away the three bad scenes that everybody was like not even laughing at. That is like it's forgiven. Right. But because there's like a sense of respect, it's like, yo, they just created 10 minutes of gold, but we just wasted 15 minutes seeing them to get there, but we forgot about it. But that 10 minutes that they just did, that's amazing. Yeah. It was out of nowhere. And then Victor with the acting, he wasn't there to teach me technique. What I love was, I want you to be you. Let's work on you. When we do these monologues, the monologue you're gonna rewrite, you're gonna write it, and then eventually we'll do other monologues. But I want you to bring you into the scene. So what are you feeling? How did this react to you? And that was beautiful to me. I was like, I'm sold. So then when the opportunity didn't go through, when I sent it out for that job or whatever, I said, and it says, congratulations, you didn't get it, get out. I was like, all right, I did a UCB class. For some reason, it was only the last slot for that class. I paid it. I went on Facebook. This guy, I don't even know him, but we just followed. We was friends. Corey Fernandez. He happened to share a post about going to Victor's cool class and how it blew his mind. He
yeah,
loved it.
I know Corey. I've worked with Corey for years.
But but I don't even know him. I don't even know how we became friends.
Yeah.
But he shared a Facebook post about Victor.
Right.
Yeah. And after that, I signed up to the Victor Cruz class, and that's it. Everything, the rest was history.
Wow.
And then from there, it cuts to I was getting to know each other. From there, he introduced me to his spiritual teacher, Guru Enlightenment. And then I met her, and we started working on my life, insecurities, anger, baggage, taking responsibility, knowing who and what I am, you know, and embracing these gifts that I had and making my life better in a positive way. And she didn't charge me none of this.
So that's a big name. Guru Enlightenment. That's her name.
Guru Enlightenment. That's her name. Guru Enlightenment. Yeah, you can go to her website, guruenlightenment.com. Yeah.
Is that the company or that's her name? No, seriously.
No, that's her name.
That's her name.
That's a spiritual name. That is a spiritual name. Guru Enlightenment. And she doesn't charge. So everything is free. Wow. And there's no brujeria, there's no gimmicks and none of that stuff. Yeah. And the reason why she knows everything, and I always tell people this, is because she has one of her gifts is the gift to hear spirits. So she hears your spirit. Whether you believe it or not, we have a spirit that guides us in this life. That society calls it intuition. Yo, Serge, don't go to the left. Make that right.
Right.
That's your spirit talking to you, you know, and guiding you on this life, you know. So she knows everything about you by the time you go there, is because that spirit of yours is telling her all the information about you. So if you go in there bullshitting yourself, like I'll use myself, for example, because she always says, don't believe in what you say, believe in what you see. So when one of my first sessions, she tells me, who are you? And I'm sharing everything about myself, about her. She says, okay, that's just the surface. But who are you? You do comedy. I get all that. And I say the same thing. And then she goes, why do you have all this anger towards your mother? When are you going to let that go? And I'm like, what the fuck? How do you know that? Did Victor tell you this shit? That nigga was supposed to say the fuck up. It's
funny because every therapist too will say, it's your mother's fault. Like, I'm like, damn, I'm dropping $200 for you to tell me this shit. I'm gonna go to Guru Enlightenment. She did this shit for free.
For free. And you get great help. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you don't like it, you don't go back, right? And it's also free. So yeah, she started dropping dimes on everything about my life.
Was that something you were aware of, having resentment toward your moms?
Yeah, I had some type.
What do you think it was?
You know what? I think it was a lot of immature, stupid shit. Like because my mom was a great mom, and she's still around, so she is a great mom. And she's, you know, she came from Puerto Rico, and immigrant, you know, all that type of stuff, and raised three kids, and on her own, was in an abusive relationship with dudes and all stuff, but had food on the table, you know, put clothes on our back, was there for us, by our side. I guess I wanted more than what she can give, in a sense of like, hey, I'm gonna do comedy. You can do it. Love you. Support it. Chase your dreams, right? Every kid want that, but not realizing that, yo, her version of the dream is the 9-to-5 job. Right.
So she wasn't supportive of you with your creative endeavors.
I wanted a lot of support from my creative endeavors. And also I wanted to share certain things about me and not feel that I was always misunderstood. Right. I wanted someone that I can talk to, that, you know, that I wasn't judged all the time. Like, Ricky, why are you thinking that way? No, you know, I was very different. So I was not, and I remember my guru shared this, like, not a lot of parents know how to deal with different types of kids, right? Because they're not taught that. They learned by how they was raised.
Yeah.
So like,
a little more
I was this kid that was all over the place, you know, mostly. Right. The traditional thing, you know, and I held on to that type of stuff. It was stupid. And it was like, I remember things that I was doing, like, in my journey, just like performing. It was almost in a sense of like, I'm gonna show them, anyone in my family, that I'm on stage. I made it, blah, blah, blah. And it was a lot of stupid stuff. And then I also had a lot of anger towards my dad.
So you had like, you know, him leaving on your shoulder, and that's like the wrong way to go about it, right? Because then it becomes very pretentious. It becomes very pretentious.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
You know, then you're looking at, you know, listen, any motherfucker could be on stage, but then you want that to like showcase something that it wasn't.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I was doing a lot of things for the wrong reasons. It still brought me joy, but it was there was a part that was like for the wrong reasons, and I'm holding on to this baggage and anger that I needed to resolve during my teenage years and all that stuff, and realize and put myself in her shoes that she did the best she can and she did an amazing job. Not your parents are not here to fulfill every layer of you. When are you going to take responsibility and figure out that that's your shit and you have to move on? And then when you have a child, you're going to realize how fucking tough that shit is, and you're not going to fulfill everything to them either. But you're going to learn from your previous ways of how your parents taught you, you know, and you're going to get better when you have a child. But guess what? I'm still going to fuck up as a parent. And there's going to be something that my child's going to be like, you know what, Dad, you were supportive, right? I give you that. We did share some things, but there's some other things that I didn't like about you. And I'm going to have to listen to it. And you know what? You're right. I take responsibility. You know, I'm learning from that. And I think the traditional parenting is like, well, I'm the parent. We can't do wrong. Everything we say is right. And I feel like, no, it's not, you know, but I couldn't share those things, right? Because I'm a kid. And if I would share it, what do you know? So I think that will bother me a lot. And then not having a father around. So I was carrying all this anger and stuff. So I had to learn to take responsibility. I did some mirror exercises. I did a lot of work of like, what's the root of all this, letting go and stuff like that. And she helped me a lot, you know, and she was also the directors of my shows. Because I was also saying, right, so what better person to help me direct the show than the person that's been helping me with my life, that knows my comedic voice already and my writing abilities and all that stuff to direct me. And she agreed to do it. So yeah, she hears the spirit, and that's how she knows so much about you, and she helps you and guides you to start letting go and becoming who and what you are. Because I'll share this. She always says that when we enter this earth, you know, like we come, like she used this example, like the fist. All our greatness is here. You know, the love, the joy, the gifts, like everything, all the positive stuff that we come down here. We come open like a child. A child comes in and they're free. They could be anything they want to be. Their imagination, they're open. They hear things. They see things. They see right through us, and they don't have all this baggage. And then what the world does, it layers everything on top of that. And then we lose ourselves how we came in. And then what we have to do, everyone has to do it if you decide to do it, is break those layers. So then what she does when we go to her, we start attacking those layers to go right back to how we came.
Yeah. Wow, that's a beautiful thing. It's not easy to do.
It's not, because not a lot of people want to do the work because there's a lot of crying involved, but there's a lot of joy too involved.
Pulling back,
but then I feel,
because
you know,
we fall into to habits and cycles.
Yep.
And we
use escape routes.
Yeah, and they're comfort. Even the most negative relationships, they're familiar to us. Therefore, we'll tolerate it, and we've grown accustomed to them. So, and when I say negative relationship, that could be a negative relationship with a loved one, with your child, with yourself, with drugs. You know, drugs, and your relationship with drugs is usually not good. But what I'm saying is like, because you condition yourself to just tolerate it and be in that state, it's a state of that's familiar to you. So you deal with it, and you know, like the end result. So it's like predictable in a certain way, and you think that's your only problem, right? Like, oh, I know this problem with, let's say, drugs, and it goes back to the same thing. But why are you doing those drugs? And you gotta peel back those. And this is shit that you don't really wanna, you don't really wanna like deal with. You know what I'm saying? And I use drugs as an example, but it could be relationships, like why you choose certain people, and it's like, this person's not good for me. There's a reason for it, but you're not willing to like. So she acts as a like a walking stick to help you get through that shit.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And like, and you know, I share her with all my friends. My friends have seen her. She has helped a lot of my friends. And, you know, some people decide to stay, some people decide to go. But my thing is like, just give it a chance, see what it's about. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. But what I'm trying to do whenever I share it in my shows is not to be as a promoter or a manager. It's like, no, I had issues. Yes, I'm funny and all that stuff, but I had issues, and I had someone that helped me with those issues. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to lie and say I went to, like, I paid for a therapist. No, that wasn't part of my story. I went to someone that's quote unquote in society untraditional, and she helped me, and I saw it with my own eyes. And by doing that, it helped my journey. I gotta tell
you, just from our relationship, I definitely see an ease with you that's apparent.
Thank you.
You know, I definitely, it's like you seem more censored, and you know, and I see this early on with, I think the main difference I see from the Rick, and we always been cool, but you seem preoccupied with something else, and it's weird. And I guess that wouldn't have been evident to me if years didn't pass and then I start to speak to you again.
Yeah.
So it's like I got like always a cool dude, always funny, we always got along. Yeah. But I definitely see a more evolved version of you now. No doubt about it.
Thank you, bro. That means a lot to me. That really does.
No doubt about it. And I can't even put my finger on what it was occupying you, but there was something that you just seemed occupied with something else. Like, you know, you just seemed settled in. And, you know, so it's interesting. And it makes sense.
Thank you.
What you're telling me now. So that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And very important. That's the human responsibility.
Yeah, man, because I think a big thing was like, do I want to carry this for the rest of my life? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Am I going to be saying the same old story in my 40s, 50s, 60s? And, you know, and everybody's pain is different, right? So like that to me, whatever I was going through and all this baggage was equivalent to maybe someone that was doing drugs for whatever reason, right? Because everybody feels pain to a different level. My pain was this, and it felt like this. That person who's dealing with drugs or bad relationships, they feel like that. And I have to respect that pain. Two different levels of pain and how we feeling it or what was the extent of it, but it's still, we are still feeling it because it was us and respecting that, right? So everybody's journey is different. For my shit, it was like, do I want to keep carrying that? You know what I'm saying? When I'm going to, because no one was going to come and knock on my door and say, you're great, you're awesome, I'm sorry, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, that's, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to.
You got to build up that confidence, esteem, and fill that void yourself.
Exactly. Like we were so quick to point the blame on everybody else and then wonder like.
Oh, so it's so easy to do that. It's easy, but it's the most violent thing you could do to yourself because you never reach a place of peace.
Yeah. You hit it right on the nose.
You never reach it. And, you know, and a lot of things you know, and everything will be able to penetrate your peace. Every little thing will aggravate you, you know?
Yep.
Because I have to, you know, not constantly, but I definitely allow myself to this kind of flow with things. And there's things that annoy the shit out of you. But for the most part, man, my reaction to things is very stable, you know? I can't allow this world, no matter, even what we're going through now, you know, I can't allow any of it to penetrate my peace. That shit's the most important to me. That's your health. And you've heard that. You know, we've heard that for you. That's your health. And like, if you're unhealthy within yourself, your relationship with the world is going to be unhealthy with everyone you interact with.
Yep.
You know?
Facts. Yo, that's a clip right there, bro. Right? That's a promo clip, what you just said. That's great.
True. But, you know, we fool ourselves, right? Because a lot of those things could be like toxic, the interaction with the, but then we could be very good at one thing that people appreciate. And that's kind of like the lifeline that keeps us going. But if everything, you got to make it, it's got to be a balance.
Yep.
It's got to be a balance because you can, that's, I find, and maybe, you know what? People are different. Maybe people can sustain like that, live there. I know I can't. Like, I got to have the balance. I got to have that peace within myself because I just cherish it. And maybe because I tapped into it a little bit, I'm very appreciative of it. But it's so important.
No, I agree with you, man. You hit it right on the nose. It's true. I think peace and having a peace within yourself and is one of the most crucial things. Because like you said too, like everything that's going in the world, like that will affect you. And then like you will just trigger to it all the time. And it's tough. And you feel the the wave and the vibe of the world and how heavy it is, you know?
Yeah, and you know, we shouldn't give it that power. I find by keeping things very simple for me, like if I have an issue with someone, as uncomfortable as confrontation may feel, it is essential to nip that shit in the butt. Whether it's a place of work, a loved one, you just gotta nip it in the butt. And maybe however you gotta do it, but you can't let it fester. You can't allow it to create its own power because it's already affecting you. If you allow it to simmer and cook and evolve into something that is out of your control, it will eat you up alive, man. It will create illness. You know, when it started off, it was potentially trivial. Some people are oblivious to the way they behave and how it affects you. So if something makes you feel uncomfortable, sometimes you gotta like step back, maybe say it out loud, how you're gonna approach it, write it down, whatever it is. But I know for me, I gotta nip that shit in the butt. I can't allow things to be said or to be done and then just deal with it like and act as if it's just my problem. A lot of the stuff needs to be addressed, and there's a way to do it. There's a way to address it. Right? You don't have to be nasty, but letting people know this is the deal, right? And I just find it, you know, sometimes you don't always get the result either, but just saying it out loud and whatever discomfort may arise, it's just like,
doing it for you. You got to do it for you. Because you got to do it for you.
You might not get the response you want,
right?
But for you, you feel like, oh, I did my best and articulated the way I felt. That's key.
Example that
doing it for you.
Example that I always use. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say sometimes you won't get the response. Someone could be wrong, but the lack of consideration or negativity, you could say something like, hopeful that you'll get the response you want. Sometimes you won't. For my collection of times I've confronted a situation, I usually get the response I want. Sometimes I don't. At least I get someone who's at least thinking somewhat in a broader fashion. But sometimes you'll get this complete opposition. But then that's when you say, hey, I did my part in this, and nobody did it for me in that case.
No, I agree 100%. You got to do it for you and don't have any expectations of it because you set yourself up for disasters. You got to do it for you and let it go. And a big example for that for me was at my second show, Still Naked. It was a story of dealing with my past love relationships and finding out where I went wrong or where they went wrong. And then the journey of trying to find my father, you know, because I haven't seen him since I was 13 or 14. So I went on this journey trying to find him or where he was at. And all I wanted to do, that was 2017.
Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah. So that was, here I was, you know, now letting in the first show, how I have found that piece of letting go of that anger with him. And now here I am now trying to find him just to let him know that all is good. I forgive myself for the stuff that I put myself through with the relationship we have. And you can forgive yourself because I'm no longer holding on to anger towards you. I just want to nip.
Did you find him?
Yeah. So I end up finding him, right? And here's a great thing where
he lived upstairs from you.
He lives in the basement. I put him in the basement with no heat. So I end up finding him, right? So it was this long journey of me. I didn't have a lot of information on him. And my mom, I think whatever information she had of him, she didn't want to share. She wanted to close that chapter. So I guess in a way, she wanted to protect me from whatever this guy could like say or whatever. And I know she has her own anger towards him, but I felt like she had information that would have been helpful to the search. So long story short, I end up finding some information on him. And I end up going to places where he used to live. And I wrote a letter with a picture of me and him, the only picture that I had. And I wrote a letter just saying, hey, I'm your son, yada, yada, yada. I'm not looking for any drama or negativity. I just want to see how you're doing and let you know that I'm doing fine and I want to start fresh and just you know, I want to find peace with that. And we don't need to talk anything else after that. Whether you want to try to start a relationship, that's cool. But if not, that's also cool. So I wrote this in this letter, a nice formal letter. I'm not trying to say, I want child support money. It was not about that. So I wrote this letter, and I went to all these old places that he lived at. I would knock on the doors in these different projects, the Bronx, by myself. And then there was nobody there, and I would just slip the letter underneath the door, right?
Same letter in different spots.
Same letter, different spots. It was just one place, and it's so funny because I went. I was just on the phone with Guru, giving her an update, like, yo, I went to this place. It's not good, not good. I said, yo, there's one place that I want to check out that he could potentially be at. And, I'm going to take off tomorrow. I'm going to see if I could take off from work, see if I could get there like maybe at 12 p.m. because I was going after work like at 6. So she said, you know what? I'll go with you. So we go, and I knock on the door. No one's there. And then Guru says, why don't we look for a super? And I'm like, I don't know where the super's at. And she goes, let's go downstairs. So she's getting information from a spirit that's there, right? I guess from hers or mine. So she says, let's go downstairs. I said, all right, whatever. I go downstairs. There's a super there. And I was like, yo, do you know a guy named Ricardo Herrera, blah, 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 and he used to live here? He says, oh, yeah, I do remember him. But he moved. I said, oh, where did he move to? He was like, oh, he moved to like Dominican Republic, I think, and sometimes he comes back. I was like, wow. I said, do you have his number? He was like, no, I don't have his number, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, here's the story. I told him the story about he's my dad. I have a letter. If you ever see him or know anybody that gets in contact with him, it will mean a lot that if you just give him this letter. So we give him the letter, and Guru says, I said, look, you know, this fucking thing is draining. I think I'm just going to let it go. She says, you know, I think what you did and spoken to that super, it was a good thing. Who knows where that letter would travel to, right? And this is all explained in the show, so I'm just giving like a short format of it. Yeah. So I said, cool. I'm still kind of like giving up and checking other places, but then I kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I threw in the towel because it was very draining for me, because here I am writing another show and also trying to go through the journey. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep my hopes up that I'm going to find this dude. So 2 months go down the road. I'm taking a nap. It was on a Saturday. I remember it was yesterday. I'm on my couch taking a nap. I kind of wake up because my phone is on vibrate. I see a weird looking number. I pick up. I'm like, hello? He was like, hello. I'm like, Geeko? Because that was his nickname. I'm like, yeah, Ricky, hi. And I'm like, holy shit. I was like, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing good, right? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he got my letter. Now, he's living in Dominican Republic. Here's how I know that I believe in a spiritual world and they are helping us, right? Because here's how this fucking letter traveled. The super contacted pretty much a lady that he used to like mess around with and live, a booty call. That booty call heard the story from the super. He gave her the letter. That booty call lady called his sister that lives in Dominican Republic in his mom's house. He's not living in his mom's house in Dominican Republic. He got his own house. But she called his mom's house. That sister picks up, blah, 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 gets the number. Here's the story from the booty call lady. Then his sister calls my dad and says, your son is looking for you. Here's his number. He wrote you a letter. And that's how.
That booty call lady needs a better title, man. She connected y'all. And you still calling her booty call.
I don't know her. I don't know her name. So, you know, who knows what the dick he was slinging to these ladies. But thank you, Miss Lady.
Booty call enlightenment. Booty call connection.
Booty call enlightenment. Yeah, booty call enlightenment.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So what happens then?
Oh, so then we connect. We talk. I pretty much just tell him everything that I wrote in the letter and said, look, man, I forgive you. I forgive myself. I'm looking for peace and clarity from this, and just letting you know, let's move on. If you want,
he's like, what is it with all these words? You.
And he was like, did that booty call bitch, booty lightman, to fucking call me? So
That's
yeah,
don't take her serious because she gives out my number.
Yo, and then he hangs up, and then that's it. No, and then no, we chat, we catch up, you know, because he understands English, but there's a barrier there, like, you know, is broken English. So we caught up to the best of it, you know, and then he told me that he's actually gonna come to New York City because the story is that, you know, he was living here and he retired and now he's living in DR. So
Right.
he just travels between back and forth. So he says, look, I'm gonna be in New York City in about maybe 2 months. Let's meet up. And I said, all right, cool. And those 2 months came, and it was like straight out of a movie. I'm going up the steps, and I'm like, this is the moment I'm gonna see my dad. Because now I just hear him. I was been hearing him on the phone. I don't know what he looks like, you know, currently.
You never met him before.
I met him, yeah, all the way up till I was 13, because he was in and out of the house. And at 13 years old, he finally left. So the last image I have of my dad was when I was 13. So this was in 2017. So I was like, what, maybe 30 years old, 29 or whatever. And then, like, you know, he's in his late 50s or whatever. So I go to the building that he was in. I'm going up the steps, and I remember knocking on the door, and I'm like, it was like in slow motion. I'm like, oh shit, this is the moment.
Nervous.
I was like, this is the moment of truth. He opens the doors opens. It was a lady. I don't know if it was another booty call lady, but let's booty lightman too.
A heroine of women.
So booty lightman 2 opens the door, and then I'm like, and he's right there smiling. I'm like, yo, I go in for a hug, and literally, like, the way I described is like all this hurt and anger that I was carrying, me, not whatever he did. That's his shit that he had to carry, but the pain and hurt and anger that I was experiencing for that moment, all washed away, and like learned forgiveness. And whatever I was holding on, I was like, I let it go. And then, yeah, I hugged him. It was surreal. We sat down on the couch, and then we was just chatting again.
I picture a couch with plastic covers. I don't know why.
It was plastic covers. It was like a big ass Jesus frame portrait on the wall. It was exactly that. And then I remember the lady's daughter came out
with a fat ass.
Yeah, she did. I'm not gonna lie, she did. She did. I was like, yo.
Moment, like a reunion between your father and you, and it's talking about fat ass.
Yeah, it was like a commercial break. A fat ass came through. I was like, yo, Pops, hook me up with Booty Lightman's sister right here. Yo, or daughter, whatever she is. Like, hook me up. And now we just chatted, man. It was a great moment. And then from there, the rest was history. We just keep in contact. And then I shared in the third part of the story of the next one-man show, the ongoing journey that I was supposed to release this year, but it's on hold until we figure out when we could perform in theaters again. But I share.
You're gonna have to do that shit on Zoom.
I know.
Not impossible, right?
I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to do it. I'm against it. Yeah. It's an art form that if you want to do it, you can do it. But for what I want to do,
I get it.
It's not. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, you want to feel the people.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, you know, in that story, I explained certain things in the new one of our relationship on the ongoing. But that was to all wrap it up. What we was talking about of doing it for you. That whole journey, I didn't do it for him. I did it for me. I had the issue. I was holding on to stuff. I was thankful that we connected, and I had that moment. Not a lot of people get that moment to let go while the person is still living. Either they're dead or they don't know where they're at. I was thankful that I had the opportunity to not only let it go within myself, like on paper, but actually do it physically to see them and have that moment.
Wow. Yeah, it requires a lot of courage, and that's a beautiful thing to actually go through with that. A lot of people would allow the anger and resentment.
You know, and through that process, I reconnected with my sister on my father's side. We only saw each other like maybe 3 or 4 times. But I
that was wrong with the fat ass.
No. That was my bad. I didn't find out until afterwards. I was like, we still gonna be cool, right? What's your Instagram? But yeah, I reconnected with her, and she has her own journey with him, right? Yeah. And she decided that she doesn't want any involvement with him. She's just like, I'm done with him. But if you want to do that for you, that's cool. I'm just glad that we connected through this whole process. So, yeah.
Wow. So so you connected with her after you met up with your father again?
Yeah. Cause he had her number.
You just going on 23andMe and hitting everyone up like, yo, I know where you at. Or he had her number.
He had a number and gave it to me. He was like, yo, you remember Catherine? I'm like, yeah. It's like, and he gave me her number, and I called her up. I was like, yo, during this process, I just want to say what's up. Like, how you been? And then we connected through FaceTime, and we was chatting, and yeah, and the rest was just that. We just connected, and yeah, so it was dope. Like how, and also then I was getting hit ups from people from DR, right? I was like, yo, I'm your cousin too. And I'm like, nigga, get out of here, because they're looking at me doing the shows, and they think that I'm like the superstar. Like I got money. So I'm like, nah, delete request, son. I don't.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Extended family down the road.
This is spam, Google. This is spam, Google.
This could be on some dirtbag shit.
Yeah, bro, they hitting me up. It was so weird because, all the profile pictures that I had is me and my guitar and the fucking bolo ties and hat.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, mira eso.
Hey, it's a superstar.
Yeah.
Damn, I appreciate you sharing that, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for allowing me to share, and we just naturally got to that moment. And I was like, oh, let me just.
I know.
Share.
When I first got you on, I definitely wanted to touch on the boxing tip. And then this kind of evolved organically.
Yeah.
But there was a good match yesterday that I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes, please. I would love to hear your take. Well, you know me, like I don't know. I appreciate you because I feel like whenever you give information, like, yeah, you're backing it up on experience, but like you tell it how it is and you're honest about it. And I'm like, yo, it's like watching someone on ESPN. So I'm like, I want to know what Serge feels about this.
I feel bad because a lot of people hit me up like, well, what do you think about that Lomachenko Lopez fight? And I was like, yeah, I'm about to disappoint you. I didn't even watch that shit. I was asleep at 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah, I went to sleep at 9.
I went to sleep mad early. Wait, how'd you go to sleep at 9 but watch the fight? That
no, don't do that, son. Don't do that.
Yo, I tried to like pull your car, but how you went to sleep at? But yet you watched the fight. You lied?
No, I'm used. My sleep time is at 9. I stood up for yesterday.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I'm a big Loma fan, bro, and I saw Lopez like on his third professional fight. So I was following him for a while too. I was conflicted in this fight, but I'm a huge Loma fan. I wanted him to win. Yeah. But I don't know. Who do you want me to share first? Because I feel like I'm sharing from novice eyes here.
Yeah, you watched it live last night. I saw the recorded version on YouTube today. So go ahead. What you thought about it?
So here's a great perspective from me. So I'm gonna give you the emotion.
This guy's patting himself on the back. He's about to do his fucking third show right now.
There's two perspectives, right? Because yesterday my emotion got into it of what I was seeing. Today I saw it again and I was like, I had a different answer. Yeah, I had a different answer. So, all right. I felt that Loma was taking his time. I understand that he was trying to wear him down, take him to deep waters, yada, yada. But he started kicking it too late in the rounds. Loma was in control. But from when I was watching it yesterday, I felt like from the moment I was seeing him getting into like the 7th and 8th and 9th round and 10th, I was like, oh, that was enough to Loma to at least win by 2 points by decision, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, he got this. So then when I heard the wild fucking numbers, 119 to 109, I already knew that they gave it to Lopez. I was like, first of all, that's bullshit. I don't know what they saw. I don't agree with that number. That means he was in total control of the whole fight, right? So I was like, nah, I feel that Loma won by at least 2 points, blah, blah, blah. So then today I saw it and I was like, I see how Lopez won, but not by that margin. But I give it to Lopez, but a little bit. I feel like he could take control of the fight. He was throwing back whatever Loma was dishing him, and Loma took a while to get into a groove, and I feel like he couldn't almost figure him out, or maybe he was too cautious of the power of him trying to go in because there's a longer reach advantage. So, and he couldn't do those angles that he normally do. Like, so that's my take on it, and I would love to hear. Sergio, is back to you. Let us know.
So I predicted that Loma will win by decision, and I was very loosey-goosey with my prediction. I haven't really been following it. I was excited about the fight, but I wasn't like everyone else. That just a lot of people want to see this fight. I just wasn't giving it that attention. With that being said, I knew it was going to be a good fight, but I just wasn't, I wasn't following the hype. But it is a great matchup. I thought Loma would win by sheer experience because he's proven it time and time again. Not giving it more thought and watching the actual fight. The year layoff that Loma experienced, the fact that he's a smaller guy, the fact that he's almost 10 years Lopez senior, the fact that he was too tentative and respectful of Lopez's power. These are four major components. And Lopez did all the right things, right? He did. It's simple as that. I think those are five crucial elements that gave Lopez a very decisive win. He was faster. He was stronger. He was younger. He fought more recent. It was only 2 months, but it's still more recent. He fought 10 months ago or 12 months ago. I think it was 10 months ago. Loma fought over 14 months ago. Yeah. And, those 4 months make a difference. He was faster, stronger. He fought more recent, and he gave Lomachenko pressure and a different look on those early rounds. Going upstairs, going downstairs was in his grill. And the moment that Lomachenko decided to put a little gas on the pedal, it was just too late. It was just too late. He won a round or two, that were like, oh, but never really had Lopez hurt or in trouble. Yeah. And it's simple as that. He just, in every category, was just better. Slicker, faster, and that was it. Yeah. But I would like to see a rematch.
Yeah, I would love to see a rematch too. Yeah. Because I feel like with the type of that person that Loma is, he will learn from this and then try to conquer it, and then come out on top. There's some rumors has it that Lopez says he doesn't want a rematch because he's like, why should I? When I signed a contract, I didn't have a rematch clause. They was already shitting on me saying that, like, I'm going to lose. So, like, when I take this fight, I'm going to get paid X amount of dollars from the next 3 fights. So he's like, you guys counted me out. Why all of a sudden now I should look back down? I'm like, yes, here's the rematch. I'm moving forward to something bigger and better. Yeah. I understand how he feels, but another part of it is that you got to give my man a second shot. Yeah. It's just boxing, bro. Like, if you would have lost, you would have probably won another shot. But
yeah, I mean, Lopez did a lot of good things. He closed the distance. He mixed it up to the head and body, and he was just the more active fighter in his. I
feel like if Loma kept being active, he would have got him. I feel like tired.
Yeah,
like more tired because Lopez had.
He just turned it on way too late.
Yeah,
way too late. And you know what? That's credit due to Lopez. Lopez will probably land some shots that made Loma feel very uncomfortable. He's like, "Yo, this kick a crack," and with the layoff, he just didn't catch that rhythm.
Yeah, I feel like he wasn't in that pocket.
He was. That's a loaded division, though, man. It's a fun division. You got Haney. You got Gervonta Davis, it's a loaded division. That's going to be a lot of fun in the upcoming years. All these matches coming together.
Yeah, I just hate that, like, now people like, well, it's like anything with the media. They're trying to say not Loma's finished, but like he just can't keep up anymore. I'm like, bro, come on. It's one fight. This kid Lopez is fucking young. Like, this guy can keep up. He just, like with any boxer, you learn from these losses. You're going to get better from it, and you come back. Or
yeah,
maybe,
I didn't think
maybe he could be this boxer. They always, there's this saying that, like, every boxer has this kryptonite with someone. Maybe Lopez is that guy for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to see the rematch. Well, hearing like the comments, because I got up in the middle of the night and I was reading, and they were saying, "Oh, what's wrong with Lomachenko?" I didn't see that much. I mean, Lopez definitely won, but I think a rematch is warranted. I think a rematch would be very interesting.
Yes,
I agree. I just think it's interesting. I don't think it was lopsided. I thought it was a good fight. And I think a lot of those things that I said earlier with the time off and and not starting early enough or played those two things really didn't work for Loma. But those adjustments I think can make an even more interesting fight.
From what you saw today in Loma, and let's say you was his trainer for the rematch, what would be some things now that you would want to work on with him to be more competitive in this rematch against Lopez?
I mean, they say you can't teach the old dog new tricks, but now that he's been in the ring with this guy, I think just start earlier because, man, start earlier, man. Work the body to Lopez the way he worked it on you. He didn't really touch the body too much.
Yeah.
I think
how do you because his dad, Lopez's dad, he's like another Danny Garcia dad. He was like, I told you so. He's like, my son is perfect. So he was like, in the interviews, he was like, well, we got this thing I created like the pyramid. He didn't know what to do with the pyramid. So Loma, we cut off his corners and stuff like that. So I created the pyramid, where he brought anything he threw at us, we knew how to take it. We countered, we punched him, we did all the movement. So like, did you see anything from Lopez that was like, I guess, new and that was something you haven't seen in the sense of like?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought he fought really well in every category. He was stronger, he was faster, he was cutting off the ring, and he was counter punching. Like, he did a lot of the right things. I mean,
one thing that I would say, usually when people are getting attacked by Loma, by all these punches and bunches, that they just stay there getting hit, Lopez will fire back.
That's what I'm saying. That's counter punching.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. He did that. That was impressive.
Yeah. That was key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that stopped Loma in his groove. Because he's used to just people just taking it and then setting up again.
Yeah, because he's usually like at a weird angle. You know what I'm saying? Beside them.
And every time he tried to do that fucking spin, Lopez did it with him. Or whatever. Like he was like, nah, you ain't gonna catch. He only did it a couple times. He noticed that, like, you can't be dancing around me.
Yeah. No, it was a good fight. This thing, Loma would have had more of a chance. We would start a little earlier, but like they said, he was trying to download this information. He had a year off,
You think that make a difference, though? And I'm asking you from a boxer thing, like the difference between not fighting in 10 months and 14 months?
Possibly. I mean, Lopez may react better to that time off, but maybe another fighter doesn't. I don't know. But
it all depends on the boxer.
Yeah, but Lopez fought a really good fight. He was just better in every category. But I don't think it was so lopsided. I'm like, oh, we can't see that again.
Right.
Loma has beaten up people so one-sidedly that I'm like, I never want to see that rematch. Like when he fought at Rigondeaux, or when he fought that Jamaican guy that they call the Axe. Like, I would never want to see Loma fight those guys again. And with this loss, I think a rematch would be interesting. I think Loma is competitive enough and wants his titles back enough that it would be interesting.
You got to give it to him. You can't just take this man 4 belts and move on. Like, and especially his dad says, "Oh, he demolished him, demolished him all rounds." I'm like, "Nah, this fight was fucking close, bro." Like Lopez did his thing,
rounds, especially later in the rounds.
Yeah, Lopez did his thing. I feel like I'll give it to him. He won the fight. It was a close fight, and he won it in a close fight. I don't think it was a landslide. I don't think it was like an abomination that, like how you said, like throw the bag away.
A lot of people just counted Lopez out. You know, so it's like, and when you put that in contrast, it like makes it for an even bigger victory. Because he was.
I wanted to see him just go the distance and with a good fight, and this was it. Because I never seen him fight someone that went the distance. You know, whatever is the 9th or 10th round. I'm like, it's like this new kid. Well, he's been around for 15 fights. Berlanga, you saw him. Yeah. He's like knocking 15 knockouts all in the first round.
Yeah, I'm
like, that's impressive. That's great. You got power. But I kind of like want to see what you do in longer rounds, like by the 6th and 7th.
I feel like they could have let that fight go on a little longer.
Yeah. The guy was dizzy. He was doing bachata there though. He was little.
Yeah. I mean, I watched someone get stretched out.
Yeah.
I'm a dirtbag for my entertainment. Why I watched at 11 o'clock this morning eating popcorn. Yo, Rick, man, you're the man. I appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you,
Plug in your social media outlets and all that good stuff.
Yeah, people can follow me on Instagram at RHComedy. You go to my website at rhcomedy.com
and on
Facebook.
The website, you can find the one-man show still?
Yeah, one-man shows is all there. You can check it out, watch it, or reach out to me directly, and I'll share you the link and stuff like that. So yeah, yo, Serge, man, thank you for this was a great Sunday.
I appreciate it.
Evening.
And you got your own podcast, the Win Podcast, which I was on.
Yeah, the Win Cloud Podcast.
Win Cloud Podcast. Yeah, you and your wife.
My wife have it. Yeah, Sergio was on it. You could check us out. Back. So it was dope, man. I had a great time, man. Thank you for creating this platform, man. I always tell you, thank you for all the inspiration and guidance you have given me. You know, you're a brother to me, so. Thank you, and I wish you a lot of.
You know how you can thank me? Just Venmo me. Okay, I'll shoot you my Venmo.
All right, go ahead. I'll send you like $10.
You're the man, brother. I appreciate your time, man.
All right, bro. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be in contact. Peace, bro.
Peace.